This is Off the Shelf, a program dedicated to keeping you informed about your local library. This month, Off the Shelf brings you to the Chocolate Storytime program, introduces you to Youth Services Librarian Jennifer Driscoll, heads over to the La Pintoresca Library to learn about the Homework Help program, and gives you a peek at the rotating art program at the Central Library.
Chocolate Storytime began 5 years ago, and so it's really simple. It's a story, crafts, and a chocolate treat at the end. A lot of our books have African American characters and themes, but they're also multicultural as well. I think the kids really enjoy seeing themselves in the picture books, and even if you're not African American, the children aren't African American, they still like to see the diversity. What we usually do is have a craft that is really relevant to the actual books that we're reading. So for instance, we had a whole story time on hair, and so we did a lot of activities on hair. We also did something about quilting. We read Faith Ringgold's book, and then the kids created a quilt afterwards. But we also do special story times where we talk about science and we do STEAM activities. So we have someone to actually lead the STEAM activities. And so they do science activities like creating slime, creating little engineering things that they make. Because literacy is so important, they are looking at this place as a home, and they don't really realize that they are learning and that they are improving in their reading and their writing. They don't really understand that, but one thing they do know is that this library is like home for them. So all of the activities that La Pintoresca offers, it just brings the people in from the community and also the children, and they enjoy it a lot. And they consider it a great place to be, but they're also learning a lot. This library is so wonderful. It is such a resource to the community. So many of the kids that come to Chocolate Storytime, they've been coming for years, but they also have been coming to the library for years. The children and their families know all of the librarians. They embrace them on rainy days. They come in, they do their homework. They just come and sit around and read books. So this is our home library personally and for our family, but it's also a wonderful home to the people in the community, and it's just the best place to be.
That's really hard to choose because I love so many things about libraries. I love that they're open to everyone and accessible to everyone. I love that everyone who comes in can find something to learn from that will educate them, that will entertain them. And I love the way that we connect with our communities and find out what people in our communities really need and then respond to that, and that the library becomes such an integral part of the community. Some new ones that have come out that are picture books for 3 to 5-year-olds that are really great is How to Be a Lion by Ed Veer. This is sort of like a new Ferdinand story. So it's about a lion who is kind and gentle, and all the other lions think that this isn't how he should be. But he teaches them through the help of his bird friend how there are many ways to be a lion. I also like The Day You Begin by Jacqueline Woodson, illustrated by Rafael Lopez. This is a great story about how kids can feel different in all sorts of situations, whether it be a new school or a new community, and about how finding your own power and growing into that and being who you are can be really exciting. Another one for kind of middle school, so maybe 10 and up or middle grades, is Front Desk by Kelly Yang. This is a great story of Mia, who's an immigrant from China. She lives with her parents and she lives in a motel because that's their job, running this motel. And interesting people live there. Immigrants come in and they hide them and learn their stories. And it's about Mia finding her place in America and who she is going to be. For middle schoolers, I really like the book The Prince and the Dressmaker by Jen Wang. This is the story set kind of at the beginning of the modern age in Paris, and it's about a prince who sees someone who comes to a ball where he's trying to find a wife in a beautiful gown. He finds out who the dressmaker is because he actually likes dressing up in dresses and sneaking outside the castle. So Francis, the dressmaker, and the prince form a great friendship, and it's about being true to yourself and who you are, and it's great for kids who really liked Raina Telgemeyer's drama. Literacy is super important for kids from ages 0 all the way up to adulthood. Literacy is important. With really little ones from ages 0 to 5, talking, reading, writing, singing, and playing are great things that you can do with your child to get them ready so that they're ready to learn when they enter school. If they know songs, if they grow up for those important years hearing language, they're ready to learn how to read when they get to school and just ready to learn a lot. And for older kids, reading is really important because I think it allows you to experience the world in a broader way than what you're just used to. So through reading, whether it's fantasy or adventure stories or historical fiction, you can find yourself at a different place in time. And studies have actually shown that reading fiction can help increase empathy in people. So it's a great way to explore the world around you while still sitting in your armchair. When I'm reading, I like to read for escapism. So I really appreciate Julia Quinn's romance novels. They are lighthearted and fun romps set in Regency England with shadows of Jane Austen. Those are tons of fun. I also enjoy reading travel logs, and Bill Bryson has done some really amazing ones for England. His Australia book is really great, and any of the nonfiction, he just really brings it to life and makes it enjoyable.
The Homework Help program is called Homework Help because it's not tutors. We help the students with their homework. We assist them with their homework. So we help first grade to high school students, and they will have anything from math to just having to read a book to having to do a project. And a lot of times the students are able to do the homework, but like most kids, they just need somebody to encourage them. But there are times where we actually have to explain things. So we're very fortunate that the volunteers we have are very capable to explain the way and the reason behind what they're doing. Anybody who needs homework help is allowed to come in. And most of the students that come are from the neighborhood, but we have students from all over Pasadena. We have children come from the LA Unified School District, from other school districts that come here because of the high quality of our volunteers and because we're providing this service 4 days a week.
I've been retired for some years and kept pretty busy doing some things, but I got bored. I wasn't using my mind enough, so I decided to tutor because I have a lot of experience in that in the past. You get the feeling that you're doing something that's really necessary. In fact, as you can tell from the fact I had to handle 2 or 3 students at once, we could use more help.
The volunteers that we use began mostly high school students trying to get their community service hours. We've had this program since 2014. By the 3rd year, we had more adults coming in, just wanting to volunteer. We have youth ambassadors. They're local high school students who have to have really good grades, be very involved in the community, and the city hires them, and we get to use them for free. And then we have some parents that their kids have grown up and they still want to be involved. Most of our volunteers come once or twice a week for 2 or 3 hours and are willing to sit down with a child and help them with their homework.
I feel like it's really going to help a lot of these kids with their studies and making good study habits and actually putting aside time to do their homework and stuff. It means a lot because I get to come back and give back to a place that gave back to me and helped me. So it helps me kind of pay my dues. And also just having the satisfaction of helping people and being able to give kids help that I may have never needed when I was smaller, but helping them helps me.
Now we get about 20 kids per day. So we don't always have enough volunteers to help them all at the same time. So we call them as they come in. Parents that come here have been coming here, most of them for several months, if not a few years, and so they know that they just come in, sign their child's name up, and sometimes a child brings themselves in, which is wonderful when you have kids that just walk in off the street and say, I need homework help. Some of them only need 5 or 10 minutes, some of them they're here for an hour or not more, because they have so much homework. And most of the times we try to include the parent in what we're doing, explaining what the child is working on, what the child is doing well on, and give the parents also some hints on how they can help the child at home with their homework.
The real successes are to see that when you get through working with a student, you can work with the student and try to get through in their own personal way rather than blanket. At the same time, it means you gotta try to make a connection with the students.
In Pasadena, there are a lot of private schools, and the children that go to the public schools, especially the children who come from families where the English is not the first language, they're at a disadvantage. So having the homework help brings the playing field up for those children. So they will have somebody after school who will sit with them, sometimes one-on-one, sometimes a volunteer has to work with 3 at a time, but at least give enough attention so that the child is doing the homework correctly. And also sometimes we're able to catch when maybe a child is having difficulty with, maybe we could see that reading is really difficult for them, so then we will encourage the parent to go and speak to the teacher. So besides providing homework help, it's also a community service for parents to come in when they're concerned about issues with school. The homework help program, as I said, it's free, anybody can come in. So we tend to have families that parents work, by the time they get home, they just want to have family time. And so if their children can come here right after school, they're able to have just family time when they get home. So that also provides a community service.
Here at the library, we have a rotating exhibit program, and we have 4 display cases in 4 different rooms, and they're available to the public on a monthly basis. And the public will come in and they fill out an application and go through the process. We have 2 displays this month. One in our north entrance is with the Sigma Gamma Rho sorority, and it is displaying their sorority and the influence that they had on Black history. The other display that we have is by an artist named Alfred Heyman, and it is a photography called Observations in Black. And next month we have our One City, One Story display. We also have the Verdugo Hills Arts Association, and coming up we have anything from, we have Pasadena Heritage has displays here, and just individual artists and photographers display here as well. I think it attracts people because it's a public place. We don't necessarily endorse or promote any of the artwork, but we let them display it openly and freely in a public building. It makes it accessible and easy for the public to come and look at it.
For more information on these programs and other offerings, please visit PasadenaPublicLibrary.net.